Everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to take a look at the events to wrap up 2019 and to kick off the new year 2020. There's a few details that just want to make clear before the actual event gets started. Probably going to be a little busy before the new year and when the new year hits, so not sure I'm going to have as much time to do this, so might as well do it a little bit early to make sure you get a head start on that. Kind of a late start on this one, though, is the Monst Judgement. You have until December 31st, 2129 Japan time, so make sure you adjust your time zones accordingly. But there will be a live stream to show the results of this, so you got to make sure you get in your picks before then. Basically, what you need to do is guess on what you think Kurokawa Shocho there. You know, he's given us nice orbs, but gonna put him to the test, and basically there's 5 decisions he needs to make. You will guess if he's innocent or guilty. Now each option will have some criteria to say which is guilty or not, and we'll go over them real quick, and I'll give you my picks because I haven't done them yet. I'll do it live for you. There's also a website you can click. If you click the button on the homepage, right there, you see his lovely face there. Tap that, and there will be a blue button on top that you can click. That will open up a web page which not only has more details on the 5 decisions he has to make, but also the current results of what the people in Monster Strike have voted for, whether they voted for guilty, Yuzai, or not guilty, Muzai. You can see the breakdown there, and if you need some help picking a decision, it's there for you. Now, of course, with these decisions come rewards, and if you get all 5 correct, you will get 50 orbs on top of splitting 200 million yen. Of course, you probably have to be in Japan to do that, but that's pretty cool. If you get 4 right, you'll be getting 30 orbs. 3 right gets you 10, 2 right gets you 5, 1 right gets you 3, and just by voting and you get them all wrong, you'll get 1 orb. Now, I'll quickly go through each of these decisions he needs to make, and whether or not, or what I'm gonna pick. So the first one is basically he has a decision to either go talk with his trio leader. He is a comedian, part of a trio, 3-man group. Basically, they told him a lie that his leader is gonna quit the show business, and he wants to talk about it at 9 p.m. that night. Of course, that's a pretty big thing. He is a comedian to begin with. Like, he's doing other stuff by himself too, but first and foremost, you're a comedian, right? So his leader is gonna quit the show business. Pretty important thing to talk about. But at the same time, this is also fake. He just got a new show, and he has a very pretty coworker, and this pretty coworker has invited him to drinks at 9 p.m. So the decision is he going to choose to go talk with his trio leader, maybe convince him to stay in the show business, or is he going to go out for drinks and have fun with the pretty coworker? Now, I watch a lot of Japanese TV. I know how Kurokawa, there's a point where it's like, okay, this is just a character for TV, and then there's a point where it's like, okay, this is really how he is. And there's one show, Suyobi no Downtown. Just by that alone, you have a good idea of what Kurokawa is as a person. Now, of course, he could be hamming it up a little bit because it's TV, but they do a lot of, undercover camera events for him, so I'm going to think he's going to go for drinks. And so I'll go with Yuzai on that. Number 2 is basically they're going to have a pro wrestling match. They've had some history before where, they did pro wrestling, and as you can see in the picture, he ended up licking this pro wrestler's legs. Basically, he has 3 minutes. If he can survive not getting pinned for 3 minutes, it's Muzai. If he gets pinned within 3 minutes, I think it was like a 5 count, then he's out, guilty. This could go either way, to be honest, because it is a pro wrestling match, so they might make it interesting, funny, but let's just say he'll get pinned for that. Number 3, basically, Kurokawa, he's not married. He is always chasing after girls. And well, you know, he's out drinking with one of his fellow, you know, in his agency. There's other comedians, of course. He's going out for drinks with him, and basically, you know, talk about marriage, and then he's like, "Oh, everybody's getting married. I hate it." And then, you know, his friend here is saying, "Well, you know, I just put some money in some stocks, and I basically lost a lot of money with that, and I have to pay for my wedding this week. Can you lend me?" I think it was 500,000 yen, $5,000, I think. And of course, you know, from the video, you can get like, you know, a sour response from Kuro-chan. And so the question is he going to lend him the money or not? If he lends him the money, then Muzai, he's a good guy. Good for him. Or Yuzai, he won't lend him the money and just let him suffer. If you haven't gotten by now, I don't think he's a very good person. So, no, I don't think he'll lend him the money. Fourth one is basically they set up this event where, you know, again, a pretty girl comes up and say, "Oh, remember me from blah 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 blah." And of course, this never happens. She's making it all up. But, you know, she's trying to set up the situation where it's like, "Oh, remember me from this? You helped me with that. Thank you for this." And then basically the question is Kurokawa gonna ask that girl for her line details, right? Line is the chat program. Oh yeah, he's gonna do it. And so basically, is he gonna ask her for you know, contact details online? If he does, Yuzai. If he doesn't, Muzai. All right, and last but not least, this is a kind of like an escape game event. Basically, there's going to be 4 keys at the end, each corner of a ring, and one of those keys is going to unlock some chains that has bound his feet. And so basically, he needs to hop over to a key, pick the key, try to unlock his lock. If he escapes, Muzai. If he doesn't escape, Yuzai. He has 60 seconds to do this. And on top of that, the ring, just before getting to the keys, are surrounded with those massage mats. You know, those ones that have like the stones everywhere that really hurt when you step on them. Let me also say that Kuro-chan is not a very healthy person, so I would imagine stuff like that would hurt a lot. And this is a little bit of a luck game, right? Like if he gets lucky, he picks the right key right away, and he isn't, you know, in sharp pain because of those massage mats, he could do this by pure luck. But I'm gonna do that. And so as you can see, I'm just gonna go for 5 guilty counts. I think this is the most boring choice, straightforward choice, which kind of makes me feel this is not going to be the correct answer, just because there is a money aspect to this, right? Like everybody picks this, which I feel like is the majority. And if you look on the website, you'll see everything is very much in the Yuzai red guilty option. You know, the money you're going to get from the split pot with 200 million yen across that many people, it's probably going to be pretty small. But, you know what? I think that's fine. So, my choice is going to be 5 Yuzai counts. Of course, you can switch. I feel like if you want to flip, 2 or 5 is probably the ones you could change to give yourself a little variation. I feel like 1 and 4 is a shoo-in to be Yuzai. I would be very suspect and untrusting if that ended up being Muzai. Sure, like the first one, it does involve his you know, comedy leader trio, but yeah, when it comes to girls, I just don't think he's gonna pick the right decision. So anyways, there you go. Pick your 5. I think you do get a mail saying what your choices were. That's my advice. Go all guilty. Swap on 2 or 5 if you feel like straying from the popular vote. I think 1 and 4 are shoo-ins. 3 is probably safe as well. But that's just me. I do not take responsibility for your choices. Alright. And that's... Okay, well, let's see. That's due on, like I said, 21/29. because at 23 o'clock Japan time, they will be revealing the results of the final judgment. So make sure you get that in before the deadline hits. And just like I showed you real quick, there will be an Oracoin event to ring in the new year. It starts right away as 2020 hits in Japan. You're going to be farming this Fugu Bukuro, a play on Fukubukuro, which is, the lucky bags that you get at stores and stuff. This will be a 30 stamina extreme quest. There's only one difficulty, the Kyukyoku extreme difficulty, and of course this quest only drops coins which you can use to exchange for items. The quest will be up from midnight January 1st to January 14th, 11:59, so you have 2 weeks to do this. And while the event will not go on past the 14th, you can still exchange those coins for those items up until the 17th at 11:59 a.m. Also, important thing to note is that the boss will drop coins only when you play in co-op. So if you clear the quest solo, you won't be getting those extra coins at the end. So they are, of course, as usual, promoting co-op play. So make sure you do this. And as you can see on the banner here, as you're playing through the quest, you'll see the special New Year's version of Oragon. If you see him, make sure you take him down before he runs away, because if you do, you'll get a bunch of extra coins out of that. If that timer hits 0, he will run away and you won't get those special coins. Now, what items are up for grabs? Well, let's make sure that you are introduced to the newest character, Chumi. And Chumi is going to be, of course, it's Year of the Rats, so you get that rat-themed monster for Monster Strike. And the cool thing is that all previous New Year's monsters are also going to be available in the exchange store, not in the library, which is a really nice change of pace. We can take a look at what is in the store. There are more items beyond this, but as you can see, Chumi, of course, is there. But Shishijiro and Uriri are there with the boar. You got Shibami for the dog. You got Coco for the rooster. You got Daisy for the monkey, and Arie for the sheep. All 6 of those monsters are going to be exchangeable, and there is no limit. So if you want to just spam coin quests and rack up points that way and just get some quick max lux, this is probably one of the easier quests. This quest is going to be stupid easy and really awesome. Also, if in the middle column there's some alternate voices you can give for Excalibur and Bina. If you're lucky enough to pull them, you can give them one of 3 different Strike Shot voices. They had this for one of the collabs previously, so this is pretty cool to have. There are only 500 coins each. Of course, each coin gives 100 points, but each Excalibur has 2, Bina has 2, so you can get a total of 4 alternate voices, which is pretty cool. The orbs there, you can get 20 of them, but of course, even though they cost only 5,000, you need to spend 100,000 coins before they get unlocked, which is the standard. I don't know why this connection always chokes, but yeah, you have to spend 100,000 coins before this reward gets unlocked. So of course you're gonna have to go through the quests and make sure you do them properly. There's also a daily rotation of items which will be available in game as usual. You just click the menu item and you should be able to see them that way. There's also more items. There's Miracle Mins, there's the Waku Waku Mins, and of course your standard Evo materials, divines, stuff like that, are also obtainable through the exchange store. Alright, and oops, well, I guess I forgot to hide this, but there is going to be a new Bakuzetsu quest, no, Gozetsu quest, sorry. This wraps up this series with Idea, and Idea will be dropping first on January 2nd, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Japan time, so make sure you adjust for that. And there are new gimmicks related to weak points in this new Gozetsu, and if you take a look here, there'll be this panel which increases the effectiveness of the weak point. Basically, as you can see, you just need to go past it, and as you hit the panel, you will do more damage. Pretty straightforward. This does make it a little bit scary because now you're going to have to find that proper path between a panel and a weak point to be able to do damage. So that will be interesting to see how that works. There's also one more gimmick, and this is the protected weak point. And as you can see on the left, the 3 weak points are actually shielded. And depending on which weak point your monster hits, that's where the weak point will show up, and only then will it show up. So it's an interesting barrier reveal kind of 1-2 punch with this quest. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out, and also whether or not this means that weak point slaying monsters will have that extra advantage in this Gozetsu quest. Very interesting. And we can actually see some details about this quest in game because it has been updated already. You can see the quest here. You've got gravity barrier and blocks with the exclamation points. Whether or not we need blocks or don't need blocks is another question, but probably we will need blocks is my gut feeling. So gravity barrier, blocks, and then see that damage wall is there. It doesn't have the exclamation mark, but I would imagine, I don't know, we'll see how much that hurts or not. And basically the text is explaining 0 continue, you have to clear this without continuing. Rate, the elements is super upped, so light, you're going to take more damage, but also give more damage only as a light type. And yeah, very interesting. And we can also see the details of idea here, and he does have a new bump combo, this glitter ball. Of course, we don't know any details of that. We'll see in a video from Monster Strike official eventually, but flight, no wind with no block, and a light slayer. Interesting set. And the strike shot is interesting too. It basically says it absorbs all items on the fields and then speed power up. So basically, I guess just takes whatever's on the field and you automatically get it right away. Very interesting. But yeah, take a look forward to that on January 2nd. And before we wrap up, I'm not going to go into too many details. You can check the official Twitter that I man on ENG Monst if you want to figure out the details of these monsters. But they did already announce that a new event will be kicked off, I believe, basically when the Legends ends. This kicks off January 4th. You've got Balmunk, Aaron's Rod, and Bryunak as the gacha monsters. And you can see on the right that there are a bunch of New Year's themed characters for the event quests. So lots of cool stuff coming. They're not gonna let us rest over the holiday break, so hopefully you are able to take advantage of everything as necessary, and make sure you don't get overworked, right? Like, make sure you take a break. It's the holidays, meant to take a break. Don't go too hard on all the farming, but it also means there's just non-stop stuff to do with Monster Strike, which is not a bad thing. Alright, and I think that's it from me. With exception to the gacha for the New Year's, that should be a wrap for standard videos. I know lately that the rate of videos have slowed down, but hopefully, as the new year hits, more constant content is coming out for you, and hopefully you guys are willing to stick around with me even in 2020. So again, I'm on the fence whether or not I'll do a live stream for my New Year's polls, but I think if I can, I will. So look forward to that. If not, we'll just have a nice big video of results. So let me know if you have any questions for any of the events. Hopefully I'll have the time to answer them before it's too late, but thank you for a great 2019, and here's to an awesome 2020. So until next time, bye bye.